Yo, Big Kish back up in here. Today we're going over how Andrew Schulz has ended his career with this Kendrick Lamar diss. And everybody's talking about it, and I'm happy. We got to let people know they just can't get away with everything. You just can't get away with anything. Like, no. Comedian, no, it don't work like that. You're not Charleston White, go sit down. You're not Charleston White, go sit down. Go sit down. You're not Richard Pryor. Go sit down with your little haircut. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you're not one of them. Go sit down. You know what I mean? But yeah, we about to go over this. This video is brought to us by Fantastic Hip Hop. Y'all know how they give it up. I will leave a link in the description. Y'all know I'm like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
Now, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar in 2024, it seems like no matter who the person he is at odds with is, and no matter what Kendrick says when he is calling them out, whenever somebody has been in any sort of conflict or confrontation with the biggest rapper on the planet right now, they just completely lose all composure and in an attempt to make a response and come back to Kendrick, just end up doing irreversible damage to their own careers instead of doing anything to make him look worse. And now, while earlier in the year, we saw this happen to Drake, of course, and he still hasn't come back from it, now we are seeing another crash out from somebody who tried to clap back at Kendrick Lamar in a much different way with comedian Andrew Schulz, and really with what Schulz just did and how he is handling all of the backlash he is getting from it. If what happened to Drake after Kendrick Lamar has ruined his career in nearly every single way possible, there is almost no way Schulz comes out of this with his career intact. But now, before we go any further into this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And so now, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar's latest beef, before we even get into what pushed Kendrick to call Schulz out for his questionable actions on his album GNX's intro track, Whacked Out Murals, when we look at Andrew Schulz, beyond being a comedian who just represents everything wrong with comedy in today's day and age, throughout this entire year, Schulz has been a figure in media and pop culture, who that while Kendrick Lamar was on a mission to go after Drake, J. Cole, and just change the direction of where hip-hop was going, Schulz constantly bashed Kendrick Lamar and tried to diminish his greatness. And overall, all of Schulz's sentiments were alluding to the fact that Kendrick was a clout chaser for going after Drake, and really for being someone who does not deserve the success and praise that they get. And Schulz never really let up on this standpoint, even after Kendrick clearly won the beef, and like other Drake stans did. He just made excuses when Drake lost and said that Kendrick cheated his way into winning by making false claims and narratives and then stepping over the line, which is going to be important to keep in mind for later. And so now fast forward to today, and after on Whacked Out Murals, when Kendrick Lamar had a line that was clearly calling out Schulz, Schulz has officially responded to Kendrick Lamar on his show, and with what he just decided to cook up after all things considered and seeing just how much Kendrick Lamar can say about his competition, was a pretty light diss in the grand scheme of it all, even if you want to call it that. What Schulz just did is going to go down as one of the worst responses to being called out in a rap lyric by a celebrity of all time. And beyond just that, Schulz is really going to join someone like his idol Drake for being on one of the greatest crash outs of the entire year, because with what he said, after acknowledging that Kendrick dissed him, trying to be funny, and talking about how the GNX album is a good record, but that he's just mad because of the diss, after Schulz made it clear that he would never mess with the people who Kendrick Lamar hangs around with, he then went on to say that because of Kendrick Lamar's height, which again, notice these—
Now, I hate when people do that. Let's just say somebody about to get into it with somebody. They know they can't really keep up with that person. They can't rock with them. They say something like this: I'll probably get my ass whooped, but I'll still fight you. Like, no, you're going to get your ass whooped, my nigga. Like, that's the way it's going to go. Don't try to be trying to put stuff out there to let everybody know you about to get— no. Nah. Okay, you got all— this is what Andrew Schulz did. Oh, you got all these gangsters around. They'll do this, they'll do that to me. Yeah, okay. No, bro. Don't even try to— Nah, yeah, this could possibly happen. Let's get it.
These parallels between him and Drake's insults, that he would be able to take on Kendrick because of his size and stature, and with the rest of what Schulz said, I can't even say it in this video because it's really that bad, but for those who don't know, what Schulz went on to say in an entire multi-minute bit where he got into extensive detail of what would go down between him and Kendrick Lamar was the same thing that Drake rapped about happening to Kendrick on The Heart Part 6. And what Drake tried to frame as this moment that ruined his life and made him so against everything the OVO rapper stood for in the first place. And that was, of course, the whole Mother Eye section of the track, where Drake misunderstood one of the most devastating and powerful songs Kendrick Lamar has ever wrote, which was about his very own mother's experience and not his. And as Schultz made what may be the strangest comeback to being dissed ever, everyone went crazy over this, as from people who are close to Kendrick Lamar and from TDE just clearly being baffled with the response, to even Drake fans who are now trying to get a win by saying that Kendrick and his camp are soft, as they are now using the stance that there should be rules in what people can say in a back and forth to try and call Schultz out. There has been so much discourse about this moment, and I think when it comes to this situation at its most fundamental level, I mean, this doesn't take a lot to see, but everyone's supporting Schultz and trying to use this to show that Kendrick Lamar has a double standard for things that he can do but not have used against him. It's just blatantly wrong and lacks a sense of skill to really assess the music and media they interact with. And really, to support Schultz here, it just goes against the very roots of both rap and comedy as art forms and as these tools of unfiltered expression. Because let's be clear about this, as Andrew Schultz did and showed, he could have said anything he wanted, and that's exactly what he did. But just like if two rappers were beefing, whatever is being used to take down your opponents with words is going to be judged by the people and either rejected or accepted. And to circle back to Kendrick calling out Drake for weird claims and actions,
y'all be careful out there for what your children listen to, because the evil people are pushing an agenda. You know what I mean? They're pushing the agenda. For example, y'all know they took Drake's voice, did an AI when, you know, Drake was like, Kendrick just opened his mouth. Somebody hand him a Grammy right now. They remixed it and said, Kendrick opened his mouth. And if you heard it, you heard it. I ain't about to say it. But there is agendas being pushed. There's people on this earth who just like nasty stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it's nasty, man. Like, come on, bro. Get some decency about yourself. But I understand you got evil people on this earth, man. Let's get it.
And when it comes to something that both Schultz and others can't understand, Kendrick Lamar calling out Drake for all of his weird actions and claims over the years we have seen worked. Because at the bottom line, it was rooted in reality. And it wasn't just this weird and out of nowhere claim that was saying that he was going to do awful things to Drake. But what Kendrick was saying was actually exposing something that, from what we can see, already had some truth to it. And that maybe a lot of people were just refusing to really see with their own eyes. And so really with Schultz, and just like Drake did with The Heart Part 6, their comments about such a horrible thing, which really, to just frame this in its proper context, if we want to look back at the moment that Kendrick Lamar has rapped about guiding his efforts this year both on Meet the Grams during the beef and Whacked Out Murals now, which was the Cat Williams Shannon Sharp interview, which is now credited for kicking off this year, that has been all about exposing the truth. And the one thing that stands out to all of these points now is that Cat Williams said here that this horrible action that Schultz and Drake tried to use in these gotcha moments is never funny no matter what the circumstances are. And I mean, this isn't just a rule of comedy or rap beef for that matter. But it's just a part of human nature, because there are things that no matter how you spin them, and especially with the way Schultz got so into detail, that there is purely no comedic or entertainment value within. And this is the distinction that needs to be made, because just like Drake, who was an absolute sore loser and who had nothing left to say, so he decided to resort to one of the worst things that can happen to try and make fun of Kendrick in one of the most tasteless ways we have ever seen in a diss track. Schultz managed to do the same thing.
Hanging out the car. Bro, be yourself, man. Bro, be yourself. Who is coaching this guy, bro? I can't wait till UMG just get him up out of there. I can't wait. We got some stuff to react to too, y'all. UMG is they going to war with him. They going to war with him. They going to war with him. Word, he's bond.
Ways we have ever seen in a diss track. Schultz managed to do the same thing, and maybe even in a worse way, which is saying a lot, just because of how much he went on and on about what he was trying to do. And really, with this situation being this bad for Schultz, it's not an understatement to say that his career really may be over, because just as Schultz did this, now people have been digging into his past, where they have found out, just like his buddy DJ Academics and the guy he stands, Drake, they have some weird cases, which makes something like he did become even more troubling and questionable, because the lines just get blurred of
Schultz got a case? Schultz got a weird case? I want to know about this.
When it starts to seem like even in real life, if what he was saying is fully a joke, because some of the things that have been said about him in the past say otherwise. And now, in typical comedian fashion, for better or for worse, but definitely for the worst here, Schultz now is only doubling down on his comments. As when Meek Mill posted about what Schultz said and did right now, Schultz clapped back and made fun of Meek for being someone.
Oh, double down. I be taking double down for like reneging, but he doubling down. Okay, I get it.
Someone who was rumored to be involved in situations of the same nature. And this is just a crazy way to talk when everyone is trying to find one more reason to just take you down forever. And really, with this situation, we are only seeing the start of the consequences of crashing out over rap lyrics, because with Schultz, with his entire brand and with how he disrespected Kendrick Lamar, people who have actually been affected by what he is saying, and in general, how he has disrespected hip-hop culture by trying to make Lamar seem like he is the person in the wrong, for the way the genre has retained certain superficial values that his favorite artist Drake has kept prevalent more than ever in this era, which again just shows how delusional and out of touch the guy is. Schultz can't just run away into his own world and let these things blow over, because some of his most valuable ventures are directly rooted in hip-hop culture, as he has an entire show with somebody like Charlemagne. And even with how wild and over-the-line things Charlemagne has said over the years.
I don't know, Charlemagne, because they be having little dolls. Y'all seen them dolls they used to have in the background of the Breakfast Club? They used to have those those Ken dolls. One of the dolls had one of the other dolls bending over. And y'all remember that? I don't know if that was their idea, him and Envy's idea, or one of the managers or the people or the owners of the Breakfast Club was like, yeah, sit this in the back. Because we typically don't think we don't think stuff like that. It's a certain people that be thinking stuff like that. Like, yo, what type of time you on, bro? Like, for what? No grown man. Come on, man.
Between his obligation as a leader in hip-hop media and with all of his other ventures. This could even change their dynamic forever and maybe even cause the duo to split if Schultz continues to double down on what he is saying. And again, while it's too early to see how all of this ends up and with how much of a conversation this has already been and how much attention and backlash it's bringing Schultz, I'm sure he's going to continue to talk about this and maybe even dedicate more time to it in an actual comedy special for now, due to the way people just can't handle Kendrick Lamar coming at them and calling them out for whatever reason. We have seen another public figure with so much at stake just make such a tasteless move to try and win their back and forth with him, and the outcome could not have been worse. But with people both like Drake and Schultz, the greater question we have to ask is that in these pivotal times when your greatness could come out, how do you manage to not just disrespect people, but also the very art form you try and represent when doing these responses? Because both for Drake and rap and Schultz and comedy, they just never made the respective mediums they created look worse by aiming for such a low bar to call somebody out with. And really, when we look at both Drake and Andrew Schultz in their own ways, when you understand their careers and the places they hold in their respective fields, you will see that they are really two different sides of the same problem. Because when it comes to actually representing the culture of the thing they are from, since they have been deceiving people for most of their careers because they don't actually have the real talent it takes to make it, they just crumble in these times where the most skilled artists show how great they are. So overall, as we see Kendrick Lamar take another person's career away just with a few bars, it's never been more clear that he is the boogeyman, because even outside of rap and hip-hop, he is now causing the downfall of people's careers in far other mediums. And so now with all this said, let me know, what do you think of this entire—
But when he said, I'm with the culture feeling, that means he is backed by the people. Nobody is bigger than the people. If we got a spokesman out there, we gonna protect him, man, at all costs. Because he's speaking up for us, the people. Schultz thinking, Schultz can't be canceled. He's independent. What? Ain't nobody bigger than the people, bro. You saying some stuff like that on the airways, man? Come on, bro. Where do you hear stuff like that at? You got to go to the dark web to hear stuff like what you be talking about. That type of comedy, and it's not comedy. That was not comedy, bro. Where's the funny part? It wasn't funny. I don't even like hearing it. When I be reacting to it, they play it. I don't want to hear that, man. Come on, bro. That'll corrupt your mind. Like, yo, come on. Why is your mind thinking like that? Why your mind thinking like that? You could have said anything. You could have said anything, Mr. Schultz. With you and your fade. That fade get on my nerve. He make me just want to, right in the back of his head. Nigga, shut up, man. Birdie's bond, boy. Y'all let me know what y'all feel about the video. I will leave a link in the description, man. Big Kiss signing out. I'm gone, man.